What's going on, folks? It is KspadeTheProspect, back today with a brand new Madden 20 Face of the Phins Miami Dolphin rebuild video. Folks, we set out early in this season, we set a goal to make the postseason, and we have made the postseason. In an effort to speed this thing up, man, I jumped over the wild card round, so I decided I would go back and show you guys exactly what happened. As you guys can see, the Dolphins drew the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card round, and that's no light task. They got a lot of talent, but for some odd reason on the game, they don't necessarily utilize their talent correctly. I don't know, man, but the defense played well. Matter of fact, let me just show you. Instead of just talking about it, let me just show you. As you guys can see, man, the defense kind of did their thing a little bit, man. Spade did throw an interception, no touchdown passes, very few yards through the air. Balaj was able to get triple digits on the ground, and Spade chipped in with another, might as well say 70 yards on the ground. The story in this game was the story that it's always been for the Miami Dolphins, in this season anyway. The offense did enough to, not screw things up. I guess you could say they were game managers, but once again, man, the Miami Dolphins got the #1 defense in the league, and the defense was the reason, man. They were able to get to Pat Mahomes quite a bit. They kept pressure on them. They got interceptions galore. The rookie so far, I feel like the rookie of the year, Romeo Finley, again played big in that game, and it was enough for those guys to advance. Now, they got a very tough game this week against the Texans, and, they got a pretty mean defense of their own. So without any further ado, let's get into the game. I'll meet you guys on the field.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is a special edition of the Divisional Round Playoffs on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got what should be a good one between the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. With that, let's head over to the space city of Houston. Standing by at NRG Stadium, here are Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, thanks, Coach. EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. Straight ahead, we punch the second of 2 tickets to the AFC title game, and we've got a great one in store between the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Godden. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our 2 quarterbacks, certainly 2 of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Yes, sir. You can see, man, a really, really big game. And there's some weird things going on in this game between the 2 teams. It's going to be kind of unique. Laramie Tunsil, the offensive lineman, the left tackle for the Texans, and Kenny Stills were both Dolphin players that got traded there. So it's a little bit of, it's going to be a great game, man. Let's get into it. Deshaun Watson runs onto the field to lead his men in the battle. Hey, man, Deshaun Watson is tried and true. We already know what this guy can do. He's been performing on the biggest stage at each level so far of his career, and he shies away from no battle. You see Laramie Tunsil right there, 78. You see Duke Johnson, the ex-Miami Hurricane, Kenny Stills, the ex-Miami Dolphin. It's a lot of relationships off the field, on the field right now, if you get what I'm saying. 3rd and 10, man, the pressure just did not get to Deshaun Watson. He was able to extend the play and find a receiver down the field coming back to kind of bail him out. Will Fuller, matter of fact. That's a big-time pickup. Puts him in a 1st and 10. On the very next play, Deshaun Watson takes the shot down the field. This Dolphin secondary loves to press, and right there, that's Kenny Stills, man. I get the feeling Kenny Stills has probably got a few words for this Miami secondary, but the Miami defense, one of their keys this year is they really like to press receivers, and it's really good receivers on this Houston Texans offense, man. You already know what you get in D-Hop. You got Will Fuller, you got Kenny Stills. They are a really good team. 3rd and goal. You see the play action pass. Deshaun Watson is a dual threat quarterback. He just decides to keep it, takes off, gets into the end zone, and we had to review this thing a couple of times because I wasn't sure that he got in. But they got cameras everywhere, and with the 1, 2, or 3rd angle, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd angle, I had to admit that he got in, man. It was a great play. The Miami defense did the job of making sure nobody was open, but they couldn't get pressure on him. And if you just give him time in the pocket, man, he's either gonna find a receiver or he's gonna take off. So the Texans march down the field. They put 7 points on the board on their first drive, and we get our first look at the Miami offense and their young second-year quarterback. The funny thing is, man, Spade looks up to Deshaun Watson. I think it's a little bit of similarities in the two games. Obviously, Deshaun is a bit more seasoned, but keep an eye on young Spade, man. I feel like this dude is the future. 3rd and 9 for the Dolphins. First drive, Spade drops back, stands tall in the pocket, finds T. Higgins, the rookie receiver, who picks up the first down and continues the drive. They come back on 1st and 10, put it back on the ground. Let's not forget the Dolphins are still playing without their starting running back, Kenyon Drake. They got injured late in the season. Now, last game, Ballage was able to step up, but the defensive line right here of J.J. Watt, Derek Reeder, and Eric Armstead, that is probably, they might be the best defensive front in the AFC. Now, we know what the Dolphins as a complete unit can do, but just those three and the amount of pressure that they put on opposing quarterbacks is insane. I don't know if you saw it, but Reeder got through there and put a hit on Spade as he released it. The free agent pickup, Smallwood, picks up 5 yards on the play there. They come back 3rd down, go to the air for the rookie Henry Ruggs, who couldn't pull it in. The pressure was there. And 4th and 5, on this first drive, the Dolphins elect to go for it. They come back on 4th down. They go to Devontae Parker on a nice hitch route. The ball gets there at the perfect time. They pick up the first. The drive continues. This is something that they are not afraid to do, and Spade ain't afraid to do it as he's debuting some new kicks today. Come on, man. Come on, look at these kicks. He's fly. 1st and goal. He rolls out. He finds his target, Devontae Parker, and the Dolphins answer. If this ain't a Cinderella story, I don't know what is, man. This team didn't even make the postseason last year, wasn't even close to making the postseason, and they still got some very low-rated players on this offensive line. And I'm watching this O-line this entire game because the offensive line for the Miami team is probably the worst offensive line in the league, and this is probably the best defensive line in the league, talking about what the Texans have up front. So that's really going to be the story. If the Miami offense can protect this quarterback and create running lanes for this running back, the Dolphins win this game. It's simple. 1st and 10 for Watson, who decides to take off. And look, you see what I'm saying? He and Spade play so much alike. He gets the first down using his legs, and look at all the time in the pocket he's got. But he throws an interception. Rowe was just kind of watching his eyes. He tried to get it over to Kenny Stills. Beautiful interception for the Miami defense. Number 1 defense in the league for a reason. For a reason. Bill O'Brien is pissed. He is pissed. That's just a beautiful interception. Great play by the defense. Miami offense back on the field. We got a 2nd down play right here when the pressure comes straight up the middle. It's DJ Reeder, who already has had a hit or 2 on Spade. This time, he gets there in time to get credited for the sack. 3rd and 15, the pressure's on again, and that's a tough play, man. Devontae Parker feels like it was pass interference. I feel like it was not. Deshaun Watson runs back onto the field. He's already over 100 yards passing. Of course, he's got a rushing TD. It's going to be interesting to see how he battles back from the interception that he threw on his last time out. And I tell you, one of the best things you can do is turn around and hand it to a guy who can get a tough 9 or 10 yards on the ground like they were able to get right there with Duke Johnson. They taking a shot downfield, and Ronald Darby, who pretty much was quiet the entire year, a big offseason acquisition for Miami, was quiet all year until about the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, and he's been locked in. 2nd and 10 for Watson here. He drops back, has all day in the pocket. Nice little pass right there. It almost even looked like these teams are running the same plays. That was a hitch route right there for D-Hop, and they go right back to the air. Will Fuller gets in the end zone and throws the football into the camera for some very odd reason. So at the end of the first half, we've got a competitive game, but the Texans are in control. Now, when we come out of the half, the Miami offense will take back over with an opportunity to tie this game up. Let's see how it goes. Spade and Ballage running onto the field. It's going to be these two guys right here, man. The Dolphins run more read option than any other team in the league, and I think they need to start incorporating some of that. And it's like they hear me. They come right out, they run read options, And DJ Reader is just been a terror this game, an absolute terror. Second and long, they wanted to take a shot downfield, looking for the speedster Henry Ruggs. And let me tell you, the Texans have been watching film. They were ready for it. Beautiful play. Bradley Roby right there for the interception. And now both quarterbacks have thrown an INT. Now we got to see. We've already seen how Deshaun Watson bounced back from his. We got to stay tuned and see how Spade bounces back from his. 1st and 10. They keep it on the ground. Beautiful tackle. Unfortunately, in the tackle, the hand grabs the face mask, and that's a no-no. That's going to be a personal foul. It's an automatic 1st down. And you can see Rashad Jones is upset with himself. He has every right to be. He comes back here, 2nd down. They keep it on the ground again. And, man, when you running the football like this, that'll deflate a defense, especially when they're out there making plays. And then they give up big plays. Like you see right here, man, Rashad Jones is just a step too slow in a couple of situations here, and it bites him in the ass here. Will Fuller in the end zone for the 2nd time today. It's not D-Hop. I really thought it was going to be D-Hop that was going to be the problem, but it looked like the Dolphins are keying in on D-Hop, and like I said, man, they got more than one talented receiver. Will Fuller said, just keep looking at D-Hop. I got it. Finally, Kalen Ballage is able to get a little bit of running room right here. He picks up the 1st. Later in that drive on 2nd down, they go to the air. Ruggs is able to make the catch before he is slung out of bounds. The 1st and 10 keeps the drive moving for Miami. They come back and keep it on the ground again. Ballage with a little bit of running room. I believe that's Whitney Merciless in on the tackle, bringing them down after a gain of 5. 2nd down, the pressure gets to Spade. He can't get that ball out in time. It slings out the hand awkwardly. He's got a 3rd and 5, and that offensive line is getting their ass kicked. This time it's Eric Armstrong who gets to him. Armstead, I'm sorry. And they come back on 4th down and go for it again. We've seen this more than once. This time it's the tight end Mike Gesicki, and you can see they're going no huddle. They see something they like. They want to attack. Spade making some pre-snap adjustments. He must have saw something in the defense that he felt like he could take advantage of for them to be going no huddle here, because this is not a no huddle offense. And he decides to step up in the pocket and take off, and J.J. Watt is there to make sure it's only a gain of 1. It's not a sack, but it's definitely not what Spade had in mind when he took off. Ballage, the bowling ball of a running back, tries to fight past that yellow line, and he stops just shy of it, and on the very next play, Henry Ruggs just got cleaned up. Luckily, he's okay. He couldn't hold on to the pass, but he is okay. And Miami, they're still fighting. Going for it on 4th down again, converting again. 2nd and goal from about the 12, and that's DJ Reader just bringing that pressure, running through that center, man. The center that the Miami Dolphins have is getting destroyed. And I feel like offensive line has to be an area to focus on for Miami. And Spade says, I do it myself. Takes off running now. He has a rushing touchdown. I'm going back to my old narrative, man. I'm looking at Spade. I'm looking at Deshaun Watson. I see similarities. I do. 1st and 10 for the Texas offense. And look at Duke Johnson. Look at Duke Johnson breaking tackles, spinning, juking, doing whatever he can. He gets the 1st. Later in that drive, Watson checks it down, and look at the dance moves right there. Man, I'm telling you, when you get a guy in open field like that, you think you can just walk up and put your hands on him, and they got some shifty players, man. Will Fuller juking 1st. Now we're getting a chance to see Kenny Stills getting back at some ex-teammates, and the clock is not on the Dolphins side. It's a 7-point game right here. They need to make a play, and when you say you need to make a play, you get a play from Romeo Finley. This guy has been phenomenal this year, probably the steal of the draft. He gets to Watson, brings him down, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff right here that'll drive a coach crazy. The defense makes a great play, and they come back and they shoot themselves in the foot. This time it's Minkah Fitzpatrick with the face mask penalty. Again, that's an automatic 1st down. The defense is still fighting. Here's another rookie that's been playing his ass off. Julian Okwara gets to Deshaun Watson for the sack, brings him down 8 yards in the backfield. It's going to be 3rd and long. They're in field goal range. You really need to make a play. Smart offensive play call to keep it on the ground. Duke Johnson dodges a couple tackles before being brought down. And, of course, the Texans settle for 3 on that play. Spade comes back. They need to score quick, and they need to go for the onside kick. Scoring quick is going to be the problem, because even here you see Spade gets a great game that's negated by yet another penalty. This is probably the sloppiest game we've seen from the Dolphins this season, and they just picked a bad time to be sloppy, man, here in the divisional round of the playoffs. I'm looking at this play here, and it looks like Ruggs could have stayed on his feet. Maybe he would have had some yards after the catch, because on the very next play is DJ Reader. We're going to draw the curtains on it, man. The Dolphins had a great season, and I know it's no consolation prizes. Nobody wants to lose, and you don't get any credit for that shit. But this team overperformed this year. Nobody saw this team playing this well. I don't even think these guys saw themselves playing this well. The big story is going to be how they handle the offseason, and I have decided we are going to live stream the offseason tonight. Tonight is Sunday, April 26th. We are going to live stream the offseason. I see you guys there. I'm out until then, folks. Peace.